right, guys, so now this is what's called working on your boat. And I'm with Tom and Cheryl, and you can see, cheers.
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 We have to take a sip, you know.
That's right. And spirit.
So, working on the boat doesn't mean agony.
No.
Well, sometimes. Sometimes.
Some days are harder than others.
All right, so now how long, well, first of all, what size vessel are you working on?
So this is a Bayfield 32. It's really a 30-foot boat, but they marketed it as a 32. It was designed by Ted Gozzard. We bought this one 5 years ago, and like a lot of new boat owners, we didn't really realize what we were getting into when we bought it. And me being the engineer that I am, I decided we wanted to really bring the boat back to as much as we could, bring it back to prime cruising capable boat. It's a great boat for cruising on the bay because her draft, she only draws 3'9", so there's there are lots of little bays and little nooks and crannies you can anchor in and get into with a draft that shallow. And her mast isn't too tall, so she'll do fine for the ICW. So our original plan for this boat was to cruise the bay for several years, and then we got into it and we realized that there were some things on the boat that we wanted to address. And so we're in the middle of all those projects now, and the list is long, and it's getting shorter. I think we're definitely making progress. We're getting close to the end. We're getting to the point, I think, where we're going to be ready to splash her pretty soon.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. When do you think you're going to put it in the water?
That's like the question that everyone in the marina asks us and has been asking us for 5 years. And so now I think most people have lost the bet because they thought it was a long time ago. So we're really just trying to beat George on Adelaide to get it in the water before he does.
Okay.
We have to put it in the water this summer. We still have some inside work that we have to do. We kind of didn't plan on doing this, but we gutted the boat pretty much on the inside and then started all over again. So, the original woodwork and everything is still in there, but we did everything from, redoing the whole head and holding tanks and the galley sink and the stove and everything. So the outside's pretty good, and then the inside, all the engine will be new and everything, and so we'll put it in the water maybe within the next month.
I think so. Yeah, I think.
Right.
It's a long time coming.
Be able to splash her in a month. She's got a new engine, all new fuel system, new tankage, all new freshwater plumbing, all new electrical, DC electrical, all new AC electrical. So all the mechanical systems will be renewed or refreshed. Brought up to current standards.
All right, so guys, the thing here is that they've got this done. Now, once they get sailing, they don't have to do like I'm doing every other week, fix something. I mean, now you're really ready to go.
We hope so. Yeah, they say the cruising is really fixing your boat in exotic locations. I don't know if we can.
I don't think they're going to have to do that with what I've been watching these guys. They've done a heck of a job. Really good. Now, so now what's the plan then? Where are you going to go and what are you going to do once you get her in the water?
So we're going to sail the Chesapeake. We actually have another boat that we've bought in the process because we're really crazy, and it's a Cabarico 38. And so eventually we will sell this boat and then live full-time on the Cabarico and go cruising and go to the Bahamas and then someday go to the Caribbean. But Spirit's going to come with us and be a good boat dog. So, we're going to really learn to sail, because when we bought this boat, we didn't know how to sail at all. And, most people learn to sail when they're like kids, right? Or 20s at least. And we're like in our 40s and we didn't know how to sail. And so he just said one day, what do you think about selling everything we own and buying a boat and just living on it and cruising around the world? And I think a lot of people kind of have that dream, and they say lots of people have the dream, but most people don't make it happen. And my only question to him, and I kind of thought about it for a little while, because we've a beautiful home and all this and good jobs and things like that, and I just said, well, what about the pirates? Like, that was my concern, right? And he just looked at me and he was like, what do you mean? Like, what about the pirates? And I said, well, everything you own is in like one place, and so that was my only concern, is what do we do about someone who wants to take it away from you, And And he's like, you just don't go there. And, you know, and later he was like,
that's right, Tom.
Right. He's like, you weren't afraid of, like, what about a hurricane? What about this? And, you know, and that. And I'm like, I guess I just really never thought about that. Like, that will come, and you just be smart and, you know, do the best that you can. But but lots of people, I think just, you know, people can just plan and plan and plan and put off, and they say, you know, well, you have to wait until you have enough money, or we have to wait until our kids are grown, or we have to wait until we have our first grandchild, or we have to wait until we retire, wait, and then, you know what, I mean, it's really true, you just have to go. So, you know, we made a plan, we're sticking to the plan, and come hell or high water, like, we're going, so.
You see, and that's paramount. You have the plan, whether it's a 6-month plan or a 5-year plan, you guys are doing it. And don't wait. You know, I said this earlier in the broadcast. When's the best time to buy a boat? Today.
Yeah.
Not tomorrow, not next week, today. And then if you do that, look what you get to do while you're working on your boat.
That's right.
That's right.
I completely agree with you. Everything that you do, you know, we spent a lot of time working on boats, and it's been an incredible education, and it's been quite the education just as far as cruising is concerned, because truly when you are cruising, you are working on your boat. There's always something to maintain. Cruising is tough, and especially when you head to southern waters, when you get down into the Caribbean, or you know, if you're on the west coast, you get down to Mexico, or you know, wherever you get south. It's tough on a boat. Boats, they don't last forever. You're constantly fixing something. So the more experience that you have up front in fixing things, and the more experience you have rebuilding and knowing what's going to work and what's not going to work. And one of the advantages of buying an old boat is you've got a lot of history right there in front of you.
Yes.
You can see, well, look, this held up. This piece held up right here. You know, here's a bilge pump that's been on the boat since it was brand new, and it's still pretty good. But here are these old through hulls, and you know, thank goodness we started to address these when we did, because you know, I barely touched this through hull and it just broke off in my hand.
Okay.
So the boat has all new through hulls, all
Yeah.
new bronze, right?
Good.
So bronze fittings where you can. Things, you know, electrical issues when you have to deal with that. I'm an electrical engineer by trade, so I have a little bit of an advantage there, I think, over a lot of boaters, just because I know what works and what, you know, there's a lot of lure, I think, sometimes with a lot of this stuff, and a lot of it gets repeated as fact, and that's not necessarily so. So it kind of helps to have that sort of a background. I would suggest to anybody who wants to get into cruising, know your boat. And one of the advantages to building an old boat is you really do. You learn it inside and out. You know your boat.
That's very true. That's true.
You know everything. You know all the nooks and crannies. You know all the pluses, all the minuses, and it'll help you down the line. And we've got other friends. We visited friends of ours who were in the same boat as we are right now, where they were same parking lot that we're in, and they were working on their boat for a couple of years, and then they're cruising the Bahamas. And it's the same thing. You know, we went down and visited. We cruised with them for a week and a half last winter, and you know, I was helping him with his problems that he had down there. Some things that he had addressed and kind of had glossed over, hadn't really necessarily done quite the job that he thought he originally wanted to, and ran out of time. Time's always there's always the issue. Is you know, and one of the things with cruising is you're fighting a calendar. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to let the calendar dictate what you're going to do. You know, whether it's weather or projects.
Very good point. Very good point.
Don't try not to have too strict of a schedule. You know, because if you do that, then you're just going to end up being unhappy, because either you think you're going to have to get somewhere, and then the weather's just going to tell you you're not going there. You know, or
I've been
you're
there.
not done,
Yes,
and you take shortcuts, and then you know that could cause a problem. So go cruising and go do it, but make sure that you have, you know, a pretty sound boat before you go and do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you very much for the advice. I think it's good advice, and now we're going to let everybody get back to work. Oh, I mean drinking.
Yeah,
That's it.
right.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.